congratulate all of you for the great achievement for the country.
Thank you, sir.
Also for documenting
Thank
it
you
well.
so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So Srikant, now the challenge is to reach it to Harvard and Stanford, this book.
We will find a way to do that with
Yeah.
support from all of you.
Yeah, we must get it into the library. You know, I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing. I flipped through it. It's really come out so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
With management lessons. So that's what one is looking for, and very crisply put, concise, and you know where to look for the lessons.
Thank you.
Really, really nice layout. Harshit, have you received your book?
Yes, sir. I've seen it.
So I was proposing, Nikhil and Harshit, that you and me, we should go and present it to two people. Number one, Rubal Agarwal, and number two, Police Commissioner of Pune. We will go
Yes, sir.
together and
Absolutely.
present it to them.
Yes, sir. They have been very helpful in the entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll gift wrap these books, and then we will take appointment and we will present it to them.
Sure, sir.
And the Police Commissioner is IITK alumnus. We'll be very happy to receive it.
Rakesh sir, if your time permits and if it can be allowed, like you are traveling to Mumbai, we would also like you to come with us to present the book to like the Principal Secretary of MSME. So
Yeah, sure.
yes, they have been very helpful to get the permissions and everything arranged.
And I'll also go and present it to Dr. Mashelkar
Sure, sir.
personally.
That would be really.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Chirag.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, good. Seeing you after a long time.
Yeah, a long time, really.
Chirag, Asim, how are you?
Good, good. I'm good. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you to you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tushar is looking different.
नहीं सर सेम ही है
And Nikhil, another person I will go and present myself is Dr. Ketan Apte.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Ajay. Good evening.
Ajay sir, Sanjeev sir, you're muted.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Hi, Sanjeev. Good
Hi,
to see
Sanjeev.
you.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Good, good. Long time.
It's been a long time. And, congratulations on your team doing great things here. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Sanjeev,
Hi, Sanjay. How are you doing?
good, good. How are you? Back from Goa?
Yes, last week.
Hey.
Good evening, Ajay.
Good evening. How are you?
I see Nikhil. Nikhil, congratulations. Ajay, good to see you,
Thank
sir.
you.
How are you?
I see Asim. How are you doing, Asim?
Asim, you are muted.
Sorry. I said having a ball and things are really looking up. So I'm sure
Wonderful.
this coming year will be a great year.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, well done.
Good evening, Dr. Radhakrishnan. How are you?
Good evening. Fine.
Good to see you after a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, Kutti. Hi.
Welcome, Yashdeep.
Evening, Srikant.
Hi, Yashdeep. Good morning.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, Yashi. So long time. So I still remember it's almost 1 year now.
Yes, look what you've achieved. Amazing.
The time has passed so quickly, sir.
Yeah, you've done very well. Our shit is also done good. Amazing work.
Yeah. It's current. Everyone.
Yeah, this is Saurabh here. I've joined.
Hi, Saurabh.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Everybody looks so tense. It looks like mission control at ISRO.
We need a reverse countdown now.
I know.
We need somebody with a bindi to lighten it all.
The dot busters and leave.
Amitabha always makes a joke, and I'm not sure.
Hi, Ajay.
I
Srikant, Kutti says that the ventilator is supposed to make you breathe easier.
So it is on. Namaskar, everyone. I think the reason that Dr. Radhakrishnan pointed out it looks like a mission control ISRO because we are waiting for the Honorable Minister. We are coordinating with him. He is still in the Parliament. So kindly give us 5-7 minutes. We'll try to coordinate this, like where is he and from where he can join. And certainly the rocket will launch soon.
So, Srikant, are you thinking of writing a sequel also?
We need one more crisis and pandemic, and I would not wish that on anyone. Hopefully we'll find a more positive topic and event to do it on. Noka becoming a 1,000 crore company. So the sooner you do that, the sooner we can write a book.
No, that's what I meant. I didn't mean pandemic. I said Nokark going for the new products.
Yes.
You know, Nokark exporting world-class ventilators and world-class robots.
Yes. You overtake Stryker Corporation in revenues. That's a good occasion to write a book on.
Sure.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. My pleasure. It's not a very high bar, by the way.
So $14 billion. They have a long way to go. Dr. Radhakrishnan, are you based in Bangalore?
Yeah, I stay in Jalahalli in Bangalore.
Okay.
Very close to Bell and HMT.
Okay.
The interesting question is, without the crisis, how do we keep such momentum alive? I think that's the theme of your book, right?
Correct.
How do we create much more interesting crises than this one?
That is the general theme of all politicians. Create a crisis so that you divert everybody's attention from the real issue.
As I had said in one of the first few calls, to me, the good news was that all the big stalwarts of India were coming and looking at MedTech. I was like, wow, everyone finally shows up here and says this can be done.
And you be informed.
Namaskar, everyone. I think we have got a signal from the minister's office that unfortunately he has to start his own speech in the parliament. So he may not be able to join, but I think that we are all set to proceed with our launch. And with this, please allow me to start. So Namaskar, everyone. And my speech will be in Hindi, so I'll try to remain so. It will be in the spirit of our book as well as the Atmanirbhar Bharat activity that we have done. So, मैं निखिल अग्रवाल, मुख्य कार्यकारी अधिकारी, स्टार्टअप इंक्यूबेशन इनोवेशन सेंटर आईआईटी कानपुर परिवार की ओर से यहाँ सभी उपस्थित सभी आदरणीय आमंत्रित सदस्यों का सादर अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत करता हूँ। मैं माननीय शिक्षा मंत्री भारत सरकार श्री रमेश पोखरियाल निशंक जी, डॉक्टर के राधाकृष्णन, अध्यक्ष संचालक मंडल आईआईटी कानपुर, प्रोफेसर अभय करांदीकर, निदेशक आईआईटी कानपुर, प्रोफेसर एस गणेश, उप निदेशक आईआईटी कानपुर, श्री श्रीकांत शास्त्री जी, श्री शेखर गुप्ता जी एवं प्रोफेसर अमिताभ बंदोपाध्याय जी को इस आयोजन को सफल बनाने में सहयोग देने के लिए आभार व्यक्त करता हूं एवं आशा करता हूं आप सभी इस क्षण को स्मरणीय बनाने के लिए अपना संपूर्ण योगदान देंगे। इस पुस्तक के विषय में मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि यह पुस्तक वेंटिलेटर निर्माण की अवधारणा निर्माण सफलता की अविश्वसनीय कहानी है, जिसमें प्रोफेसर अमिताभ बंदोपाध्याय जी और श्री श्रीकांत शास्त्री जी ने मिलकर आईआईटी कानपुर वेंटिलेटर टास्क फोर्स का गठन किया, जिसकी सहायता से देश के युवा स्टार्टअप नोका रोबोटिक्स ने इस विश्वव्यापी संकट में कोरोना से जूझ रहे अस्पतालों के लिए उच्च गुणवत्ता का वेंटिलेटर का निर्माण किया। इसके साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विश्राम देता हूं एवं माननीय निदेशक प्रोफेसर अभय करांडीकर से कुछ शब्द कहने का आग्रह करता हूं।
Thank you, Nikhil. Honorable Union Minister for Education, Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairperson Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, my colleague Professor Ganesh, Deputy Director, proud authors of the book, my own colleague Professor Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, who is the professor in charge of our Incubation and Innovation Center, and also Srikant Sastri, our alumnus of IIT Kanpur, all other distinguished guests, eminent alumni of IIT Kanpur, various deans, my faculty colleagues, students, and other members of IIT Kanpur family. I would like to extend a very warm welcome and a very good evening to this program. The COVID-19 pandemic, as you know, had led to a widespread economic disruptions the world over, and it has been almost a year. It was last year, March, around the same time, in fact, when in IIT Kanpur we were vacating the students' hostels, and sort of preparing for the lockdown, and it has been like almost a year now. The silver lining of this pandemic was that that this led to many innovations and startups within a very short span of time. In fact, in response to the appeal of our Honorable Prime Minister of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat for making our country self-sufficient, I'm really very happy to report that faculty and researchers of IIT Kanpur responded with a great resolve. And they came up with several innovations and research projects in a very short span of time to address the problems during this COVID-19 pandemic. However, among these projects, the IIT-K ventilator was perhaps one of the most challenging projects. And thanks to the efforts which were led by many of our eminent alumni, some of them are here today, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava, Mr. Rakesh Bhargav, and of course, the co-author of this book, Srikant and Amitabha, then who were eminently supported by Mr. Ajay Chaudhary and several other, distinguished industry experts, medical professionals, doctors, and our own incubating company, Noka Robotics. This actually led to a great consortium comprising of our incubating company, IIT Kanpur faculty, alumni, industry professionals, and we had a very long list of very seasoned industry experts, which included some of them are our alumni, as I said, Saurabh Srivastava, Srikant Sastri, Rakesh Bhargav, Sanjay Banerjee, Arun Seth, Pavan Chaudhary, and of course the other eminent experts, which included Sanjeev Verma, Rajesh Rajada, India Angels Networks, Padmaja Ruparel. There is a whole lot of people, which came together and formed these consortiums and collaborated extensively. And I'm really delighted to see that efforts of these consortiums were met with great success. A world-class invasive ventilator has been successfully designed and deployed in several hospitals across the country. Now, this interesting and engaging story has been narrated in a very interesting book, The Ventilator Project by Srikant Sastri and Amitabha Bandyopadhyay. And we are here today to launch this book. I would like to congratulate, both the authors for bringing these efforts to the, light of all other entrepreneurs, industry leaders, academia. And I hope that this book will actually tell us about our nation's potential that exists, in our country. So, निखिल ने जैसा कहा, मैं हिंदी में भी कुछ बोल दूं कि यह पुस्तक आईआईटी कानपुर के स्टार्टअप द्वारा किसी नवाचार के विकास की कहानी नहीं है, बल्कि यह अद्भुत टीम वर्क को भी दर्शाती है। यह उसके समर्पण, जुनून, सहयोग, समन्वय, उसकी कहानी है। यह कहानी यह दर्शाती है कि जब युवाओं की प्रतिभा, उनके ऊर्जा और उत्साह को अनुभवी नेतृत्व यदि संचालित करता है, तो हम किस तरह के चमत्कार कर सकते हैं। यह इनफैक्ट ये बताता है कि कैसे अत्याधुनिक प्रौद्योगिकी के निर्माण में एक इंडस्ट्री एकेडमिया कोलैबोरेशंस एक महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा सकता है। और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि हमारे देश को प्रौद्योगिकी विकास में अग्रणी बनाने में यह पुस्तक हमारे एकेडमिक लीडर्स के लिए, हमारे उद्योगपतियों के लिए और हमारे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को मदद करने के लिए प्रेरित करेगी। So I think this would prove to be not only a great milestone in the form of developing the project itself, but also in the form of inspiring the young entrepreneurs to take up such challenging tasks. Now, Srikant, I know that is a management expert. He could have written such a story of how entrepreneurs should start and form incubating company. But I think he has taken this story as a case study or as a medium. So therefore, this entire story, instead of becoming a very dry management book, has really become a very engaging, narrative. So if you have not read this book, then I would really encourage all of you to take a look at it. And I'm pretty sure once you start reading it, you will not stop it, without finishing the last sentence of this book. Once again, thank you very much. I would like to congratulate both the authors and also the entire IIT Kanpur fraternity. So over to Nikhil.
Thank you very much, sir. I absolutely agree. It's a one-time read, and it's a wartime story. We fought the war, we won the war, and it's a demonstration by a young task force that the war can be fought and won by even using the Zoom and the technologies and ideas that we have available through our mentors. Thanks a lot, Professor Karandikar, for engaging words. Now I request Professor Bandyopadhyay to give introduction of the NOARC team.
Yeah, it's a fantastic day. It goes without saying that both Srikant and I are extremely happy that we are finally here. I just would like to remind you all that today is that same 16th March when our Honorable Prime Minister sent out the SOS in the form of COVID-19 challenge asking for all sorts of solutions. It is not just our Prime Minister. If you remember that in the initial phase of the pandemic, the entire world was thinking that ventilators will be a critical component for managing the pandemic. And in every country, major countries, major industries, including the car makers, were ordered to make ventilators. A famous ventilator company, Medtronic, even made its code open access for one of its older models. Despite all of this and all the effort, all the muscle, none of these efforts materialized. And on 23rd of March, two young IITK alumni approached me because I am the professor in charge of the incubator of IIT Kanpur and said that we would like to make a ventilator and confessed that they have never seen a functioning ventilator in action. From there, they earned the confidence of not only me, Professor Karandikar, who has been a champion throughout the project, who wrote the foreword for this book. In fact, he volunteered to write the foreword for this book. He released a video on 25th of March that IIT Kanpur is going to make a ventilator and Nikhil Kurele and Harshit Rathore will do it. I just want to emphasize and send this message to all of you who are IIT Kanpur students, planning to become IIT Kanpur student, that we as an academic institution have tremendous confidence on each one of our students, each one of our graduates. We never doubt your capabilities. And the confidence that Professor Karandikar showed by going out on the limb and saying that we are going to make a ventilator, world-class ventilator, within 2 days of getting introduced to Nikhil and Harshit, is a testimony for that. And it is really well earned. So let me introduce formally Nikhil Kurele, who is a Y16 graduate from Mechanical Engineering Department. Harshit Rathore, who is an Y16 graduate from Chemistry Department. And everybody should know that Harshit is known as the electronics guru of the NOARC team, a chemistry graduate. Nikhil, of course, is the mechanical guru. And a young team member who just joined NOARC Robotics 15 days before is Tushar Agarwal, who is a 2019 BTech MTech dual degree from Mechanical Engineering Department. These three And they had other IITK alumni who were stuck at Pune for some reason or the other, or others who have just helped from long distance. I do not want to go on the long list. It is basically a saga of outstanding engineering brilliance of IIT Kanpur alumni. That is what is captured in this book. My big applaud to the Noka engineering team, Nikhil, Harshit, and Tushar. Well done.
Thank
This
you
is
so
your
much,
story.
sir. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Professor Bandyopadhyay. So, Nikhil and Harshit and Tushar has done some outstanding work. And this story, I'm sure our other 100 companies which are now incubated at IIT Kanpur will continue this story. And we believe that many such books will be written in the future. With this, I would like to request Mr. Srikant Sastri to introduce the formidable ventilator task force.
Thank you, Nikhil. So, Amitabha introduced us to the young inventors who were one vital part of the task force. They were the reason for our existence. But the other members of the task force who came in and complemented them so beautifully, that's what made this magic possible. So it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce the members of the task force. And I'm going to start with the two people who really showed us the way. We call them our guru mentors. I'm going to start, and I was personally fortunate that I got 90 days of crash mentoring from them. So therefore, there was a very selfish reason for me to be so actively part of the task force. I wouldn't have got my own mentoring without this task force having existed. So let me start with Saurabh Srivastav. Saurabh, as all of us know, needs no introduction. Serial entrepreneur, angel investor, VC investor, widely acknowledged as one of the architects of the software industry in India, the startup ecosystem in India. There's no institution that he has not been responsible for. NASSCOM, TIE, Indian Angel Network, Indian Venture Capital Association, and it's been a real privilege to work with him. In recent years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself presented Saurabh an award for his contribution to the Indian IT industry. Thank you, Saurabh, for everything that you did to show us the way.
Thank you, Srikant. It was a pleasure to have been involved in the creation of the task force, and I enjoyed working on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other guru mentor who I really got to spend time with him for the first time is Ajay Chaudhary ji, a Padma Bhushan. Apart from being a founder of HCL, he's done a lot to drive his vision, taking IT to the masses. He wears many hats. He's the chairman of the Electronic Sector Skill Council, chairman of the FICCI Startup Committee. I think he's done so much for the hardware industry in India. Besides all that, he gives back to society through his own charitable trust called Swayam, which provides education support to deserving children. And I must tell you that rest of us in the task force were softies. Ajay is the one who drove us really hard to meet deadlines, to go out and meet quantitative goals. And I could see a lot of the famous HCL culture being ingrained into us. So thank you for all of that, Ajay.
It was a real pleasure to be part of the task force, and I still miss those days.
Thank you. So the two guru mentors showed us the way, but we could not have built a medical technology product without bringing in four experts into play. We were fortunate that we could bring in four CEOs who've been in medical technology and healthcare for several decades, and they came into the task force. And I'm going to start with my dear friend Sanjay Banerjee, who I've known now longer than he's known his wife. I've known my wife. We've been to IIT Kanpur and IIM Calcutta together. He spent 30 years in healthcare and life sciences industry, and he played a big role in guiding the NOCAR team on product development, testing, certification. He was the shoulder on whom the younger people could go and cry on. And Sanjay, thank you for everything, the way you mentored the young people.
Srikant, first and foremost, thank you. Echoing Saurabh and Ajay, it was clearly a pleasure working in this team, making new friends, and of course, learning from the young. It actually transported me back to our student days when you saw Nikhil, Harshit, Tushar, and company, actually working through the night to deliver on Ajay's stipulated outputs. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So Sanjay was the first call I made to invite him to join the task force. The second person I had to convince was my other dear friend Pawan Chaudhary, who again I've known for over 30 years. I tried to hire Pawan Chaudhary 30 years ago. He refused, but this time he agreed to join the task force, and we were better off for that. Pawan comes with impeccable credentials. He's the managing director of a leading French multinational in healthcare. He's the chairman of the Medical Technology Association in India, and no one knows policy and regulatory matters as well as he does. So, Pawan, thank you for agreeing to my request this time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Srikant. It was amazing how so many of us came together. And the best part was that there were no egos. We came together as hostel mates. And I think my journey was completed when I was introduced today as an IIT Kanpur alumni. This time, in this life, I could not make it, but next time I'll join you there.
Thank you. Thank you. The third gentleman I'd like to introduce is Sanjeev Verma. All of us in India are proud of the 1971 war that we won, but what we don't know is Sanjeev is another outcome of the 1971 war. Because he graduated from IIT Kharagpur that year, India had no foreign exchange, so he could not go abroad to study. He had to stay back in India. So America's loss became our task force's gain. Sanjeev again is someone who's held CEO and leadership positions in many healthcare and pharmaceutical companies. Now an advisor and consultant, for us, he was a manufacturing guru in the task force. If Sanjay, Pawan, and others guided the task force in designing the product, we could not have manufactured it without Sanjeev. So thank you for Sanjeev for making that happen, guiding us down the manufacturing path.
You guys are very generous. Thank you so much. But more importantly, that was the activity which kept me sane during the COVID lockdown period. So thank you, task force.
Thank you. Pleasure. And our fourth MedTech CEO is Rakesh Bhargav. IIT Kanpur, IIM Ahmedabad, 4 decades of experience in healthcare again. Now, Rakesh advised the team on many aspects, but the biggest aspect support came from him was by leveraging his relationship with top doctors across the country. Noka could have designed the product, manufactured a great product, but no doctor would have agreed to give them an audience until Rakesh had made those phone calls to say, you must meet this young team and see the great product they've developed. And Rakesh was the one who opened those doors. So Rakesh, you're in Pune, you're continuing to mentor them. So thank you for all of that once again. I'm not sure we have Rajesh Raizada here, but I must talk about this. So we have 2 guru mentors and 4 medtech CEOs. None of this would have mattered if we could not have imported components from overseas or source components from within India when the world was shut down. No flights, no courier services. But Rajesh Raizada is a supply chain guru. He found ways, even when the world was shut, to find ways to source components from across the world and bring them to India. And he taught the other members of the task force what supply chain really means. So Rajesh, I don't think you're here unless you joined them now. Thank you for that. I want to thank Asim Thakurta. Asim is a wonderful story. He retired from his first innings of career and he was all set to relax on the beach or play golf till we co-opted him into the task force. He became the adult in the room. We brought him as the COO of Nokar Robotics to work with the young people. Now his wife and friends complain that he has no time for them, but he's a magical person for Nokar himself. So thank you for that, Asim.
सर मेरे लिए गर्व और सम्मान का विषय है कि मैं इतने सम्मानित लोगों के साथ मेरे को काम करने का मौका मिला. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Asim, our pleasure. I've got Arun Seth here, again an IIT Kanpur and IIM Calcutta alumnus. Arun has worn many hats in his life, but right now in his current avatar, he's deeply involved in the healthcare industry, on the board of many companies, including Narayan Hridayalaya. Arun came in and helped us at crucial moments when we were getting stuck. So Arun, thank you very much. Can we have you say hello, please? Okay, so I guess you're missing right now. Okay, we'll move on. Now, all these were the mentors who came in from outside, the experienced ones, but I must talk about the role that the IIT Kanpur incubator and its young people played. I must thank Nikhil Agarwal, the CEO, and Amitabha, the professor in charge, for literally handing over the full incubator staff to the task force. There are many names, but I would be doing injustice if I did not name three names today: Nikhil Agarwal, the CEO, Aditi Kumar, and Rahul Patel. The three of them did a fantastic job of keeping us connected and making real magic happen. So thank you, Nikhil, Aditi, and Rahul. Then there were others who were not full-time members of the task force, but helped actively. And I must call upon three doctors who helped us right through. First and foremost, Dr. Prachi Sathe, the ICU director at Ruby Hall Clinic, Pune. She threw open her hospital for Tushar, Nikhil, and Harshit to come in, do their R&D, learn the ropes. Dr. Sathe, thank you very much. If you're here, I'd love for you to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here today. And when the Prime Minister declared that we want to make indigenous ventilators, it was my unfulfilled wish, probably, which I was looking at this young team to fulfill. And when they came ahead, because there were so many other companies who were trying it, but I was really doubtful because nobody could understand the intricacies of a diseased lung who would require to be ventilated. We created some videos to guide them, to teach them that how a ventilator is required to function for a difficult lung. And then working with the whole team of Noka and Mr. Rakesh Bhargav, it was a great pleasure. My whole team in the ICU really enjoyed it, so much so that one of my fellow in critical care actually tried this ventilator holding the tube in his own mouth and taking air in his own lungs. That was the first trial which was done. And it was a great journey since then. And I feel very fulfilled and satisfied to have worked with this team. And many more ways to go ahead. A lot of technologies are waiting to be Indigenized.
Thank you, Dr.
All
Sathe.
the
You
best.
inspired the team. They will continue to make great products with your inspiration. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan, who's been guiding the IIT Kanpur incubator for a while. He is at the Shri Jayendra Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences and Research, Bangalore, and an assistant professor there. Dr. Padmanabhan, if you're here, would you like to say hello?
Thank you for the opportunity to work with this. It was indeed an opportunity to give back what we've taken so much from the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. And finally,
I must add, Srikant, I must add that it was Deepak who told the team that either make an ICU ventilator or no ventilator at all. So that was the guiding principle for us.
So thank you for setting the bar so high so early on, Deepak. I'm going to, is Dr. Dilip Raman here, a pulmonary and critical care specialist from Bangalore, again stepping in at crucial moments to provide advice. Dilip, are you here?
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Humbled to have been part of this life-saving effort. We have miles to go before we sleep, not just for India, but also for the world. I think Noka should look across the borders as well. And healthcare and technology have been functioning in different silos for too long. We all need to work together a lot more to make this a seamless exchange of ideas so that we can continue to design better things for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dilip. You spoke about breaking down silos. The other person who has been fascinated by how the silos got broken down is Yashdeep Kumar, sitting out there in New York, running global innovation for Stryker Corporation, $14 billion company. Yashdeep has been remotely mentoring the team and guiding us. Yashdeep, thank you for helping us through that. Would you like to say hello?
Thank you so much. And it's really humbling for me to be part of this esteemed group and the opportunity to participate and help. This was definitely eye-opening on how such a good group could get something major achieved. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Yashti. And finally, last but not the least, young Chirag Gala. Among the many manufacturing experiments we tried, one was to partner with a good SME, which is ISO certified. And we were lucky to chance upon Chirag Gala of Avi Healthcare. And it's a fascinating licensing arrangement Nokark has entered into with him. It's a great example of how inventors can work with an SME who knows how to deal with land labor legislation in India and work around all the pain of manufacturing in India. And it's a win-win relationship. So Chirag, thank you for being a great partner and welcome to the session today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srikant and Dr. Amitabha, to introduce to the wonderful team. And it's been a privilege having manufactured more than 300 ventilators. And it has been a great partnership with Nikhil, Harshit, Tushar, and everyone in the Nokark team. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chirag. So that was my introduction of the team. With that, I'm going to hand over back to you, Nikhil Agarwal.
Thank you. Thank you, Srikant, for this wonderful introduction. We are really very delighted. I just wanted to say one thing for all the audience that both Srikant and Amitabha have been kind enough to pledge that all the proceeds from the royalties of the book will go to IIT Kanpur's incubator. So whatever that they have earned is that will all come to IIT Kanpur eventually. So thank you, Srikant, and thank you, Amitabha.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Professor Karandikar, Srikantji, for giving an introduction. I think it's a dream team. I know it's a great build-up. Now the real story, time for the real story. Let me again request Mr. Srikant Sastri and Professor Bandyopadhyay, and we have Mr. Shekhar Gupta, extremely known face for all of us. So Mr. Srikant Sastri and Professor Bandyopadhyay will have a conversation with Mr. Shekhar Gupta and discussion about the book. So let me request Professor Bandyopadhyay. And also I will request as a housekeeping, those who are not speaking, may I request everybody to mute themselves. It will help in reducing the background noises. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it is a real pleasure that Mr. Shekhar Gupta, despite his very busy schedule, managed to take a few minutes out. We are sorry, Mr. Gupta, that we are running a little late. Okay.
No worries. I'm honored to be here, and I'm more than honored as an Indian citizen to be holding a copy of this book, because behind this book lies something that we rarely see these days in journalism, which is a good news story, a genuine good news story, which is not a plug for this and that and not paid news. Because we've spent 1 year worrying about this and that, the whole world, and in the middle, and I can tell you that very often we say, "Arey, IIT लोग क्या करते हैं? IIT में सारे इंडिया के brightest लोग जाते हैं, 6 साल 7 साल तैयारी करते हैं, फिर जाके वो हिंदुस्तान लीवर के लिए टूथपेस्ट या ऑरेंज जूस बेचते हैं." So we need to see more innovation from IITs. I think it's great for brand India, it's great for IITs, and it's great for Indian entrepreneurship also. And I'm happy to notice that this was done in partnership with an SME. So on that note, I would have loved to do this conversation myself, but I'm not so well informed of these issues. So I have a colleague, our health editor, Abantika Ghosh, whose own book has just come out. Lockdown just been released a couple of days back. She will be doing this conversation, and I'll be listening and learning, because I look forward to recording an episode of Off the Cuff, my weekly show with the authors very soon. So thank you very much, and I hand you over to Abantika Ghosh now.
Thank you. Thank you, Shekhar.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar.
Thank you so much, Shekhar, for those kind words. Once more, congratulations, Amitabha and Srikant, not just for the book, but for being part of such an amazing project. And, I did manage to read a little bit of the book, and it's such a fascinating read. But I mean, I know we don't have too much time, so I will, launch straight away into the conversation. So, Amitabha, tell me, when Noka first approached you, they were making robots to clean solar panels without water, and from there to ventilators to ICU ventilators, that's quite a leap. So, what made you take that leap of faith? What made you think that they can do it?
Well, I still remember the initial conversation with the Noka team. They said, sir, it is not very complicated. We still will be controlling mechanical devices with electronic circuit. That's what we do for robots. So that was a good argument. But then, it's a life-saving device. So, fortunately, through Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who happens to be my colleague and now on Lien as the DST secretary, he connected me to a group of doctors and engineers who were helping people worldwide to make ventilators. And there is one individual, Dr. Govind Rajan, who is a professor in University of California, Santa Cruz. He was part of that team, and I got an audience with him on 27th of March. And on 25th of March, Noka actually started making their prototype. So then 27th of March, when I had a meeting with Professor Govind Rajan at 11 p.m. our time, because we're dealing with the West Coast in the US. So Professor Govind Rajan initially tried to convince Noka team that you should make a ambu bag based ventilator, and he went on and on for 20 minutes. And then Noka team said, but Professor Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan has told us that either you should make an ICU ventilator or you should not make any ventilator. So then Professor Govindarajan said that, but it is a complicated machine. Will you be able to handle it? So they said that, we have made one prototype. Would you please take a look at it? And they took out a prototype dabba and gave a demonstration of a ICU ventilator. Very simple, that they made out of hobby store components. And Professor Govindarajan was thoroughly impressed. He asked them so many probing questions which they could handle. And at the end of 1.5 hours, Professor Govindarajan told me that, Amitabh, you got a fantastic team, just run with them. So that was good enough for me to get confidence in the team and to run with it. And then I made a call to Srikant, and the rest is history.
So in the book, you recall that one of the lighter moments during your daily calls was when you would sort of crack jokes about each other's haircuts that their spouses or their kids had given them during lockdown. Srikant, tell me a little bit about your experience of designing products during lockdown over Zoom and WhatsApp. What was it like, the fact that you were working remotely?
So working remotely initially obviously seemed strange, and I don't think we could have imagined that something like this could have been accomplished entirely through by working remotely. So we scheduled the very first call on the 29th of March. It was a Sunday, and we said Sunday 12 noon. It should work for everyone. But I quietly put a 12 noon calendar invite for the next 90 days, and it became a ritual after that. And no one could kind of break that schedule. Even if 1 or 2 people could not make it, we stuck to it. So it just became a habit, and it became all consuming. So I think 2 things happened. We had a great task force that came together with diverse skill sets. They got used to seeing each other and being accountable to each other. What would happen is everyone would come, give an update, and make commitments that by tomorrow I will accomplish so much. And then they would be under pressure to go back and do their work before coming back the next day, because none of them wanted to kind of come back and tell the task force that did not make a progress. Nikhil and Harshit were very smart. They would pass the pressure down to Tushar, who was the youngest member of the task force, but rest of us were all rolling up our sleeves and had our own targets to meet. But that is how it became a ritual. And I think that ritual of a regular interaction that becomes a habit was possibly the most important thing. And I think there was a higher purpose. There was a fight against COVID. It was a fight to help the country. All of these things came together to make the task force a great model to replicate, actually.
So, you actually had a fantastic team, fantastic mentors, and, probably for all the, as I was reading the book, I felt that probably for all the limitations that you had of working during lockdown, it also worked in your favor in some ways because people were available to do this. So, India early on had a very bad experience with Chinese antibody testing kits. you had your own bad experience with Chinese, if I recall correctly, air filters or something. And then your Honeywell flow sensors did not arrive because the factory went into a red zone.
Yeah.
So looking back, Amitabha, what were the kind of challenges, the 2-3 big challenges that you faced while doing this project?
Well, the first challenge, as would be obvious to everybody, was it was not just India, the entire world was under lockdown. To move components from different countries to Pune was no small job. And Rajesh Raizada and Rahul Patel, they just pulled off the wonder there. That was challenge number one. Challenge number two, we knew that if we have to make any contribution to COVID management, we have to come out with the machine yesterday. So the only way to do that is you try several models simultaneously. And for that, you need money upfront. And we must appreciate the corporate donors of India like ANSYS, ICICI Securities, Standard Chartered Bank, the InfoEdge, and ACT Grant, many of them. They gave money upfront even before the product was on the ground, and that allowed us to simultaneously experiment with different kinds of models. And the third was to win over the doctors. Doctors are used to imported machines. They have a natural instinct to not to trust Indian products, and for right reasons. And that's why, as Srikant mentioned during introduction, that because Rakesh called these doctors, and these doctors have a trust with Rakesh, so they at least allowed us to give a demonstration. And that's how we could win over the doctors. They realized that this is an international quality product. So that's those were the three challenges, and I think we had three appropriate champions to mitigate each one of them.
There is one chapter in the book. It's actually, the title of the chapter is Regulatory Haze. And it starts off with Dr. Subhash Mukherjee's experience of test tube baby, which I found very interesting, and its tragic ending. But that has always been one of the problems of working with, and eventually you will have to work with the government in terms of getting regulatory clearances and all that. And during one of your introductory speeches, you mentioned that you needed an SME basically to work around that. That was a specialized field. Innovation is one thing and dealing with government is another thing. So, based on your experience, how easy or difficult is normally when there's no pandemic, no such, single-minded focus on one issue, how easy or difficult is it to get manufacturing done in India? Srikant.
Yeah. So we actually tried 3 experiments in manufacturing. One, we signed an MOU with a large defense PSU. We then tried working with several large private sector companies. Third is we tried working with SMEs. Now, all of them were interested. The PSU was interested because they had idle capacity and they also wanted to make a contribution to the nation, but they were not agile enough. So that's the challenge we ran into. The large private companies have great manufacturing facilities, but they were interested in those big short-term orders that were anticipated from the government. When the prospects of those started receding, the large private sector companies lost interest. They were not interested in this as a long-term proposition. But the SME has the skills, has the distribution channels, but does not have the ability to invent and innovate new products. And here was Noka, a group of bright IIT students coming out with inventions that Chirag was only dreaming of. It became a match that was beautiful. So for us, the SME partnership worked, the PSU partnership did not work, and the large private sector ones seemed promising for a while, but then eventually did not materialize. And besides Chirag and the SME manufacturing, Noka does some manufacturing of its own, so it's a twin-prong manufacturing strategy. But I must tell you, this was a great exposure for us of Make in India and its different facets and lots of learnings. But for me, the SME startup marriage is a great one. It can make healthier SMEs in future. It can keep new hardware inventors away from the mess of manufacturing if they don't want to get into it. So that's the learning for us.
Right. So you were working at a time when imports were not possible. You could, even if you were taking your time, I mean, there was no other alternative. Somebody or the other had to come up with this ventilator. There was no option of imports. So this was, again, as I keep repeating, this was an exceptional time. But Amitabha, what role did the government and India's science and tech institutions and incubators play? And also, do you think in a non-pandemic situation, that's the kind of role that they will sustain? Will it work in the long run like this?
Well, starting with your last part, I sincerely hope that they will continue, because the story I will tell you is most inspiring. I'll tell you that in September 2020, I received an email from the Indian High Commission in Singapore asking for some $20 from our incubator. Then I asked our logistics guy, Rahul Patel, that Rahul, what is this about? Then I learned the whole story, that in April, when we were making the first prototype, we desperately needed some components that were being routed through Singapore. And Singapore was going to get into lockdown in a day. They had announced it already. And we are already in a lockdown. So if Singapore goes into lockdown, that's it. We will not get those components. So we contacted our Ministry of External Affairs. They and Invest India. And Invest India literally deputed one person for our team 24/7. And when I mean 24/7, I mean it. They contacted the Singapore High Commission. Singapore High Commission figured out through various combinations that one empty Singapore Airlines flight is coming to Mumbai to pick up some stranded Singaporeans. And our components can be loaded onto that. Then they figured out that there is a shipper who can load it. But then they realized that because the banks are closed, there is no way we can make the payment. So our High Commission stood guarantee for the shipment, and believe it or not, the shipment came to us without making any upfront payment. We got our components the next day, and later on we paid back, and there were some calculation errors, so we paid the other $20. But that one email alerted to this whole fantastic story. Just imagine the government working with this kind of initiative. Sky is the limit. We can achieve anything that we set out to do. And I have seen that repeatedly. Government agencies, IAS officers, our science and technology institutions like DST, DBT, DSIR, they have all helped without asking. So there was no red tape. There was fantastic cooperation amongst all. So yes, I think that the government has realized that this works, and I think I am still seeing the inertia of that continuing. So I am hopeful.
So Srikant, the corollary to the question I just asked also is, so we've been hearing about Tushar, and I believe this is the person who is being referred in that part where it says that Tushar was entrusted with this job क्योंकि उसका CPI high है.
Correct.
So, yeah, right. Yeah. So people like that, students like that, one of the issues always is, and you also mentioned this person who's a part of your mentor group who could not go abroad because of the 71 war. And that's, so my point is, people from institutes such as yours aspire to go abroad. That's one of the things they want to do. So in the long run, when everything is all right, when traveling is allowed, do you really think these people will stay back? And so what makes you so hopeful that you can replicate Silicon Valley in India? Like even during this conversation, we've kind of figured that there are a lot of limitations in living and working in India, innovating in India. What makes you so hopeful?
See, staying back in India was already attractive even before the pandemic. Unlike the 70s and 80s where 80% of the batch used to go, now the ratio is reversed. There are many more opportunities in India. But for me, the pandemic has brought forth a completely new avenue of hope. And let me try and explain. What is the magic of Silicon Valley about? In a small 120 square kilometer area, bright students from universities, professors, mentors, investors, they're all hanging out together in cafes and colleges, etc., brainstorming ideas, quickly getting investors in. What makes it possible is they're all concentrated in a small area. The pandemic has taken away that geographical advantage. People in Silicon Valley are no more meeting each other as intensely as they used to. So when I talk to friends in Silicon Valley, they say now, at least for the next 12 to 18 months, Silicon Valley has lost that advantage. Doesn't matter if you're in Kanpur, Kolkata, or Lagos, Nigeria. We have proved through the task force that the same collaboration can happen remotely, which otherwise used to happen on a cafe at University Avenue in Palo Alto in Silicon Valley, for example. And we have the advantage that there's Indian diaspora all over the world. We can pull them in exactly the way we did. Yashdeep Kumar sitting in New York is available to us. We don't have to wait for him to take a flight and come here. I think this is the magic of India, which is waiting to happen, which is why I believe that the new version of Silicon Valley will be virtual, which will be remote, and it will be led by India. And we're waiting to see it happen in the next 24 months.
Sure. So my last question, what next for Nokak?
I think we should let Nikhil and Harshit answer that question.
Yes.
So I'm really like honored to be part of this thing. I never like realized. Just I'll take 30 seconds to thank like IIT Kanpur and the task force. Firstly, IIT Kanpur for teaching us the values of giving back to society, values of respecting each other and all those things. And that is the reason why this effort has come out so nicely. And everyone is celebrating this. So thank you so much for that and task force. So answering your question, like what next? One thing which we have got the confidence. So as Amitabha has said that we never saw a ventilator, working ventilator before we made this. The confidence which this project has given us that we can make anything. Yes, everything is science. And the kind of basic science which is being taught in IIT Kanpur. Because I have experience of IIT Kanpur, it might be the situation in every IIT, but the way things have been taught to us in the education, and not just in formal classes, apart from formal classes in the extracurricular activities, the basic science element which has been engraved in us, and that is giving us the confidence that we can definitely create products of global quality. MedTech is now a proper division in Nokak. So we are going ahead with multiple products. Fortunately, we are launching another product in next 2 weeks, and that particular product will be competing with the global companies. And it is the only product which is available globally if we talk about the kind of features it has. So there are similar products coming up, and definitely in clean tech, which has now picked up. So, and we are hoping that we'll be the world leader in clean tech business in next 2 years.
Right. So I have to congratulate you for this amazing journey. It would be really great if this is the kind of stuff that innovators here can come up with, especially in healthcare. As a health journalist, I know what need we have for such things. Thank you so much, everybody, for having this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Avantika, for spending your time with us and highlighting this story. Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Avantika. Thanks a lot, Mr. Shekhar Gupta. Thanks a lot, both the authors, Professor Bandyopadhyay, Mr. Sastri, for giving us a glimpse of what actually happened. But to get the full story, you have to read the book. So my honest request to the 1,000 people who are watching us on YouTube, on different medium, is to go online, click on Amazon link, and within 3 days, the beauty of the Amazon, another innovation Jeff Bezos has done, that you will get a book wherever you are in, whether in Kanpur or Kharagpur, you will get a book in 3 days time. So please do that. So with this, we just now, Professor Karandikar received a message from the Honorable Minister. He has sent his best wishes, and he has also sent his regret he is not able to join. And one of the reasons of not able to him to join is that his budget speech was scheduled yesterday, but due to certain delays in the parliament, his speech is happening now, and you can understand as a union HRD minister is one of the most important speeches with which will affect the millions of people in our country. So certainly we'll accept your wishes, Honorable Minister, and we hopefully we'll meet you soon. With this, may I request Professor Karandikar and also Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, the chairman of the Board of Governors of IIT Kanpur, to formally launch the book on behalf of the Honorable Minister. And then I'll also request Dr. Radhakrishnan to enlighten us about and give us a special address to the group. Thank you very much.
So it is my honor to launch this book along with Dr. Radhakrishnan, who has been there with us. In fact, Dr. Radhakrishnan, as the chairman board of governors, has been really the motivating and guiding light for the entire institute. During this entire lockdown period, we have been in continuous touch and interactions with him, and he continued to interact with not only with me but also with all our team at IIT Kanpur. And I'm really very happy that finally this story has been narrated by Srikant and Amitabha in this book. So as Nikhil has mentioned, do buy and read this book, and as both of the authors have pledged that the entire proceeds will eventually come to IIT Kanpur's incubator activities. So by buying this book, you will be contributing in a small way to IIT Kanpur's incubation activities. So thank you very much. And may I now request Honorable Chairman Board of Governors, Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was also the former chairman of ISRO and is a household name. So I will request him to give his keynote address. Welcome, sir. Sir, you can unmute. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Distinguished friends, I'm extremely happy. This is a satisfying moment for anybody who has been associated with IIT Kanpur. And I can see the joy in the faces of many of the luminaries, the IITK alumni, the people who facilitated this major mission, and the young friends who had the courage and energy to get into it. So let me first congratulate the three young men, Nikhil, Harshit, and Tushar, for their energy, enthusiasm, and the boldness to venture into an area which is essentially uncharted for them. And also, I have been highly impressed by this young man, Amitabha Bandyopadhyay, who has been incubating several small setups, and they have also reached certain level of maturity under his guidance. And also Abhay Karandikar and his great team who are all present there. Their basic motto is help the young team to do things well. And also we honor the fourth young man, Chirag, from the SME, without whom I'm sure all these things would not have been possible. I had a glance at the book, an electronic copy that I received from Amitabha, and it is wonderfully written. I should congratulate both the authors. It is not a normal book that you get in the shelf, but it is a drama. I don't know. It is written so well, and all the characters had their role to play. And what is more important, there in each chapter, there is a takeaway. What is that lesson this venture has given to the rest of India? In fact, that is the message which we need to carry forward. I'll come to it a bit later. Working with IITK during the post-pandemic period, we had several moments to be proud of. The way they handled the entire campus management, the way the faculty members came together from all disciplines, whether it is for mask, whether it is for ventilator, that is for some chemical, etc., etc. And things have been going so well. It was spontaneous action by this team. That is number one. It was for a noble cause and noble initiatives. And essentially, it was not for publication. It was an end-to-end mission to save the life of people. And when you say this, an invasive equipment, there is quality, there is reliability, and safety which are paramount. And I'm extremely happy that the medical technology community and the doctors, they are with you and they have been happy with the performance of the product. And so far, we have not received any complaints about the malfunctioning of this ventilator. That's a great thing. And there is also a production base. And I'm sure not only the Indian market, but the international market also will be looking for this product. And what is the takeaway from this major mission? If you look at the medical equipment of the country, 80+% are imported. For the health security of the people in this country, I think we scientists, technologists, and manufacturers have got a major responsibility. And what this project has shown is that, yes, this is a role model for us to follow. Can we do it? And if you look at the IIT system, we have almost 6,000 to 7,000 best minds of the world there, the faculty members. And at least 30% of their time, they should be able to devote to such development which are essential for the national requirements, for the societal requirements, to raise the economic level of this country. And with the kind of wisdom that the elders have shown to provide to this, and the energy of the youngsters, especially those who are coming out now in the coming years, and with the holding hand of the IITs, especially what the way IIT-K has shown, I think this country is in for a great future. And I wish all of you the best in Noka Robotics. And I heard somebody talking about 1,000 crores turnover soon. Yes, that is one of the major objectives. And what more you could do to the society, to the people. And let me conclude by saying I have been in space for 50 years. And why the Indians are respecting us? Not for the excitement that we provide through Mars mission or Chandrayaan mission, but how these satellites are finally helping the people. And if we can do, that will be something which we can be proud of. And we can say there is a purpose in your life. Thank you very much. All the best for your next venture. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Very inspiring. I agree that it's something we all need a purpose, and I think that's something, a message we want to give it to our startup is that don't just look at the 1,000 crore or 10,000 crores. Look for 10,000 jobs. Look for creating and solving the problems, for creating good products, solving the problems for the own country. That should be the purpose of startups and the innovations that we are doing. So thanks a lot for saying the kind words. With this, let me request the two guru mentors. Srikant has introduced our two guru mentors, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava and Mr. Ajay Chaudhary.
Saurabh is on another call.
May I request Mr. Ajay Chaudhary to say a few words to this group. Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, can you hear us? Hello?
On another call.
Dr. Srivastava?
He's on another call.
It's not. I think Mr. Chaudhary has dropped out and Dr. Srivastava is on another call. So we shall proceed. In fact, we will request Mr. Chaudhary and Dr. Srivastava to record a message and send it to the group later on. So thanks a lot for everybody joining in, and may I request now Professor S. Ganesh, the Deputy Director of IIT Kanpur, to offer the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Nikhil. It's a much simpler and pleasant job for me to, give a vote of thanks. Let me thank first our Honorable Education Minister, Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, for agreeing to grace the occasion. When he couldn't really make it today because of some other commitment, which is far more important. But he has been a great support to this project as well as all the R&D activities that goes on at IIT Kanpur. And we would like to place on record our sincere thanks for his support. We would also like to thank Dr. Radhakrishnan, Chairman of Board of Governors of IIT Kanpur, for being great strength to us all through the COVID time. He has been a great support. He has been guiding us on various activities, and of course, the ventilator project is one of the projects wherein he has shown real interest and great support to us. And I also would like to thank all our colleagues who have joined us on this occasion. And for the ventilator project, as you hear from the panelists, it has been a very challenging journey. I can understand very well because exactly at the same time I was trying to keep the campus within their home and trying to feed them. That was challenging, and I can understand how challenging it would be to make something during the 3 months come up with a product that now being has come out as a book. That really shows how efficient, how great the team was. It's a long list, and I wouldn't really like to repeat all the names, but I would certainly request all the guests who have joined this program to go through the book, buy the book, and go through them. I would certainly like to thank all the members of the ventilator task force, and indeed it is their time and energy that really helped in crystallizing the product and coming up with the prototype and how it can be taken to the clinic. And of course, the Noka Robotic founders, they are the real heroes, with the key members from the their own team, and of course the doctors who have mentored this team. I mean, that is incredible. Without them, I don't think that the product would have entered the hospital. That is indeed a great gesture, help from them, and we would like to place on record the role that they have played. And all the panelists who have joined us for this book launch, that is really, we would like to thank you, and especially Mr. Shekhar Gupta and Avantika for really taking us through the journey. We could not really go through the journey because we really want to keep this as a trailer. We want you to get the order a book and then read through, therefore you can really enjoy. And really this is an incredible story that is written by Srikant and Amitabha, and I really request all of you to get a copy. Therefore it also helps our incubator because the royalty comes there, and it's a very good business model they have put in place. and the background work that is done by the incubator team, that is something that is not really sort of told here today, but they are the people really helped in various ways, not only for this project but many other projects, and that really keep the incubation activity going. And I really thank all of them. I could not list everyone. That's incredible, and all the press that covers today, I'd like to thank them again for joining us. And it's a great occasion because it's not about the journey of how the ventilator was made, but it is about the concept and the message that we could do things. It's not something that it's difficult. If you take up a good problem and if you have good teamwork and you have all the players, you can really make a difference. That is something that the message that book offers. And I thank again the authors for putting it together so nicely. And finally, I would like to thank our director, Professor Abhay Karandikar. He really is the one who really helped the entire team in many different ways. That is something that I would like you to read through the book. I don't want to reveal now. And again, I thank all of you for being with us. It's an incredible journey, and I would like to wait for one more book of similar theme, maybe within a year or so. That's the thing that I look for. Thank you once again for all of you to be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Ganesh, for your kind
Thank
words.
you.
And we know how much you helped during that period. We got enormous help from Institute Administration, which is de facto run by Professor Ganesh as the Deputy Director of the Institute. So, yeah, our sincere thanks to both Professor Ganesh, Professor Karandikar, and all my colleagues who helped us in many different ways. Yeah.
So
I'd like to second
Avantika
Amitabha in
asked-
saying that. Yeah.
So Avantika asked, what next to Noka, but I can just answer that on behalf of IIT Kanpur. So what next? Of course, IIT Kanpur Consortium was formed to make this ventilator as the first product. But we would like to sort of set up a very strong ecosystem of medtech innovations. And as Dr. Dilip Raman said that, why can't, the medical device products, can they get developed in India? And as all of you know that the next generations of research in healthcare are likely happening at the intersections of engineering and medicine. And IIT Kanpur would like to play a big role in the next decade or so. So let me assure you that after 10 years, I think a history book may be written of how the medtech device industry has been scripted starting from this project. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining this.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thanks a lot, everyone. Now, may I request the press colleagues to stay over, and also I will request the co-author plus the mentor team task force to stay and ask the relevant questions.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Dr. Sati here.
Bye bye, Dr. Sathe. हम खत्म कर देते हैं हाँ वो क्वेश्चंस वैसे भी है फैक्ट्री टीम लेकर के रिले कर देंगे हाँ ठीक तो
Okay, I think the press meeting has been scheduled for the next day. So we will, thanks a lot. We will close this meeting and hope to see you soon. And, namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.